NBA The Run has a launch date, June 9th. It's a 3-on-3 street basketball game built entirely around online multiplayer, and it's going for a look and feel that's deliberately different from simulation-style basketball games. Matches are played on courts like Venice Beach and the Tenement in the Philippines, in solo or squad knockout tournaments where you win or go home. The gameplay leans into above-the-rim dunks, crossovers, and steals, and the developers built it on rollback netcode for tight online responsiveness. Defense is treated as a serious mechanic alongside offense. Blocks, dives, and steals are meant to feel just as satisfying as scoring. The entire visual style is handcrafted rather than photorealistic, which makes it stand out immediately from the competition. Captain Tsubasa 2: World Fighters finally has a release date, and it's this summer. The action soccer sequel launches August 27th in Japan and August 28th everywhere else. The game picks up from the first title and follows the World Youth Arc storyline, with the story content directly supervised by original manga creator Yuichi Takahashi. You're looking at 110 playable characters spread across 22 national teams, with new super moves added to passing, blocking, and those big goalkeeper versus shooter showdowns. A brand new Stars Route mode also lets you create a custom player and join the Japanese national team. Over 150 animated cutscenes are in there too. It's a significant step up in scope from the first game. Marvel Rivals Season 8 is 5 days away, and NetEase has now revealed what's coming. Cyclops is joining the roster as a playable character, and Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur were teased for a future edition as well. Season 8, titled Sins of Alchemax, kicks off May 15th and centers on the Alchemax Corporation, which was behind the time plague that hit Lower Manhattan in the game's ongoing story. The free-to-play hero shooter features 6 vs 6 team battles across destructible environments, with character-specific team-up combinations that let players chain abilities together. Cyclops is the headline addition here, and the reveal trailer shows him in action in what looks like a significantly X-Men-focused season. It's a notable reveal for fans who've been waiting on the X-Men side of the roster to expand. Nailcrown is an FPS announced by Bohemia Interactive and Destructive Creations, set in a dark medieval fantasy world. No release date has been given. Players fight through dungeons, castles, and haunted villages against ghouls, minotaurs, and trolls using weapons like a nail gun, shotgun, and a lightning-infused impaler, alongside melee options. A dynamic gore system drives the combat. Both cooperative and competitive multiplayer modes, including deathmatch, are supported alongside the single-player campaign. PATLABOR: The Case Files is a 3D action game based on the mobile police PATLABOR franchise, confirmed to launch this summer with no specific date yet announced. Players take on missions from 2 perspectives, as Special Vehicle Section 2 in main story missions, and as their rivals in separate side missions. Over 20 mech types appear, including the Ingram and the Griffin. A simulator mode offers shooting practice and labor versus labor combat outside the main campaign. Deadzone: Rogue 2 is a roguelite FPS sequel announced by Prophecy Games, following the original title which accumulated over 500,000 players. No release date has been set. Set on a fallen Earth overrun by a faction called Monarch, it supports solo play and up to 3-player co-op. Players build runs by combining elemental weapons, augments, and perks, mixing styles from Stealth Assassin to Fire Berserker, while permanent neural lattice upgrades carry forward between deaths. Kingfish was just announced, and the concept is genuinely unlike most things in the roguelite space. Developer Firebolt has built an asymmetric 2-player co-op game where one player controls a king on the ground in an isometric view, and the other player controls a giant living island, a leviathan, from a strategic overhead perspective. The king fights enemies and gathers resources. The fish manages city layout, production, and incoming threats. They see different things, and coordination between them is the whole point. The story kicks off with a young king awakening this ancient creature after a betrayal, and together they build a kingdom while defending against monsters rising from the ocean. Every run brings new maps and challenges. No release date has been set, but cross-platform co-op is confirmed. Wanderstop is getting a physical release, announced today by I'm8bit in cooperation with publisher Annapurna Interactive. No release date for the physical edition has been given yet. The game itself came out earlier this year. It's a narrative-focused cozy title where you play as Alta, a championship fighter who ends up running a tea shop in a magical forest against her will. You grow and harvest ingredients, brew tea for travelers using an unusual contraption, and sit with the tension of a character who fundamentally does not want to be where she is. The creative team includes Davey Wreden, who made the Stanley Parable and the Beginner's Guide, co-creator of Gone Home Carla Zimunja, and composer Daniel Rosenfeld, who did the Minecraft soundtrack. Abyssus is coming to consoles on June 25, alongside a version 1.3 update for the game's existing release. It's a roguelite first-person shooter with a brimepunk aesthetic, set underwater in the ruins of a sunken ancient civilization, where your team of explorers gets ambushed by the corrupted inhabitants of the kingdom they've come to mine beneath. Up to 4 players can run it together, and the build system spans 8 weapons with 45 weapon mods, plus divine blessings that layer on elemental and mystic effects. The game emphasizes coordination between players as much as individual skill, loadout synergy, positioning, and teamwork are treated as core mechanics. The PC version already has a player base, and June 25 brings the console audience in. Harvest Moon: Echoes of Teradea now has a release date, September 24. The farming sim is coming to multiple platforms later this year. Today's announcement was focused on the date, with no additional details about the game's mechanics, setting, or feature set shared alongside it. Harvest Moon as a series has been running for nearly 3 decades, though the franchise has had a complicated history with its Western publishing rights. Echoes of Teradea is one of the more quietly anticipated entries in the series, and September 24 gives fans a clear target to plan around. No GTA 6 Trailer 3 dropped today, despite the speculation building around it. What Rockstar did post on social media was an announcement about a new event in Red Dead Online, and the reaction from the GTA community was immediate and predictably frustrated. Fans have been watching Rockstar's accounts closely for any sign of a third trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6, and instead got content for a game many consider dormant. Rockstar has said nothing publicly about when a third trailer is coming, and today's post didn't change that. The anticipation around GTA 6 has been building for years, and moments like this tend to amplify it rather than quiet it down. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle has arrived on Switch 2, and voice actor Troy Baker spoke publicly today about what it was like to recreate the opening sequence from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Baker said his own fear didn't matter, only getting it right did. The game is a first-person action-adventure developed by Machine Games, set in 1937 between the events of Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade. Players travel to locations including the Vatican, Egypt, and the sunken temples of Sukhothai, using Indiana Jones's whip for both combat and traversal alongside stealth and melee options. The Switch 2 version marks the game's arrival on Nintendo hardware for the first time. Machine Games previously developed the modern Wolfenstein series.